Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast series. I have Piyusha Patil from Cummins College today. So, just to introduce Piyusha, she is currently a fourth year student at Cummins College of Engineering, Pune, which is one of the best colleges in Pune, and especially for girls, it's literally the best college I'd say in Pune. Just to give a brief introduction about Piyusha, she just was an intern at Deutsche Bank in Pune, and before that, she also took part in various hackathons such as JP Morgan. Chase Code for Good hackathons, and yeah, that is what she is doing right now. So, Piyush, I would hopefully I didn't miss out anything. So, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Piyusha, and I'm currently a final year student at Cummins College of Engineering. And as he mentioned, that I have done my internship at Deutsche Bank. So yes, it was a great experience, and I learned so much there. And it was from I guess June 2024 to July 2024, where I worked on a Spring and Spring Boot framework. Where I have to build a library using, yeah, of course, Spring is a Java framework, so I use Java. I build a library for the token authorization and generation, validation, etc. So yeah, it was a great experience. And talking about hackathons, I have taken parts in many such hackathons like Google Solution Challenge, then Rajasthan Police Hackathon, where I was a runner-up. I didn't post it on LinkedIn. Sorry, they didn't give us the certificate. They only gave us the check. That's why I have been runner-up at Rajasthan Police Hackathon, which was at Jaipur. It was consisted of three rounds. First round was just ideation. The second was the code submission, and the final round, the grand finale round, was at the Jaipur, where we had to go through three more rounds. As I was not present at the final round, my teammates were there, and it's their hard work totally at the grand finale day. Yeah. And talking about GPMC Code for Good, it was in July 2023. Yes, and also it was also consisted of three rounds. It was basically for having internship at JPMC Cheese and Co. So they take interns from the hackathon only. So the first round was coding assessment (OA), where they give like two questions, easy to medium level or medium to hard level. Then I passed it. The second one was the interview one. It was actually like on the higher view platform. So
Okay.
it is like automatic interview. They don't have the interviewers and something. Just questions just pop up on the screen and you have to answer. It will get recorded and it will get submitted to them. Then I also passed that and I went to the final round, which was a 24 hours live hackathon. That time it was online, it was on Zoom. So they prepared the teams and just now make the Zoom meetings for every team. And yeah, we were the finalists. Like it has only two more rounds. Like first round, we passed it, and then we went to the final round. So yeah, basically we can say we were the runner-ups for whatever the problem statement that we have given. Again, it was a very, very good experience. I had the chances of getting in the JPMC, but before that, I got interned at BV. Their results were declared so late. That's why. Yeah, it was a great experience, and yes, that's it.
Okay. So, Piyusha, before we jump into hackathons and that in more details, would you give us like the audience a brief information about your background, like what was life before engineering, and then like how did you enter this world?
Okay, okay, I would like to talk about it. So I'm from Ahmednagar, so it's like a city near Pune, and I had scored 99% in my 10th. I'm from like SSC board background, so it was like everyone was like, okay, start preparing for IIT or at least take NEET, go for engineering or doctor. They were like all take 11, 12, don't take diploma. So yeah, giving you a brief introduction. I have done diploma in computer engineering after 10th. So it's basically like after 10th, you go for 3 years of diploma. And after completing diploma, you get a direct second student at your college, like engineering college. So I've done my diploma in computer engineering, and then I have taken admission in Cummins, like a direct second year student. Yeah, it was a bit hectic because the admission was so late, like in November 2022,
Yeah.
and our semester ended at it was going to end at 16 December 2022. So we had only 1 month left for the exam and term, everything. It was so hectic. So during that period I didn't do anything. I just focused on CGPA because it's very necessary for the criteria, the placement criteria for the companies. So there I studied very hard in that 1 month and I scored 9.2. And after that, yes, every semester I had like 9 or 8.9. So my average CGPA was 9, you can say. That's why it benefited me in the JPMC code for good, because my CGPA was high. And then I got selected for the final round where they took interviews. They also consider the criteria of CGPA. Yeah, so I would like to advise everyone like to keep your CGPA at least above 8.5, so that you get shortlisted, at least shortlisted for the online assessment. So you won't miss a chance to just crack first. If you don't get shortlisted for OA, there is no meaning going for interview and all of the things. So after that, in my fourth semester, I participated in Google Solution Challenge, which is like 1 month long hackathon organized by Google. So it's not necessary that you should win or you should go into semifinals or you go into semifinals. It's just that you learn a lot in that one month. You have to work within a team. You have to go code. You have to work on a real life problem statement. That's what I say. Because Google Solution Challenge, they give us like 17 domains. Yeah, 17 sustainable domains. You have to choose one, and you have to choose a problem statement yourself. You cannot just choose the generalized management system and those kind of problem statement. You have to choose like a real life problem statement. So our problem statement was women safety wala problem. So we survey a lot, we brainstorm a lot, we went to our diploma colleges and we presented our rough idea there. We took reviews from them. We circulated a Google form in our college. So they gave us some kind of insights. They found some flaws in our project, so we overcome it. We added features and the other. So it was a great experience working for a month for Google Solution Challenge. In the next semester, again, it was like internship. Cummins internship period starts from the third year itself. Like as soon as your third year starts, it starts there itself. So to my surprise, I didn't do anything. We were given 2 months period to prepare for DS and something like that. And to my surprise, I didn't do anything. I didn't prepare anything because I was too lazy to do that. Mm. And I started like 1st August. From 1st August, started like a LEETCODE. Okay, go to LEETCODE. I started from a Striver sheet, A to Z wala sheet, and then I started coding consistently for like 2 hours daily, 2 to 3 hours. I have done coding for only 15 days or 20 days max, from 1st August to 20 August. And I got shortlisted for the interview process of Deutsche Bank there. And then I got selected. It was like one shot, one go. I got sorry. Yeah. I don't know how I got selected. It just happened. I don't know what, how and what. Like it just happened. And after that, I focused on doing a lot of curricular activities, co-curricular activities or extracurricular activities, and maintaining my CGP, because it was only internship. I cannot guarantee that I will get the PPO. And if I didn't get the PPO, I would have to set for the placement drive again. So yeah, I was maintaining the CGPA. I was participating in other activities, co-curricular activities. Again, then it was Rajasthan Police Hackathon in December. Then yeah, it was even 1 month long process because it consisted of 3 rounds. And yes, there is one more. Like in January 2024, we got selected for a ReSCon, a national level research. Research competition held by IIT Bombay. So it was consisted of 3 rounds again. The abstract selection, we got selected over like thousands of teams. Like the top 100 teams were called at IIT Bombay to present their research. Then it was poster presentation round where two criterias were there. One was audience voting plus judges score. So yeah, combining those score, we got finally top 10 teams were selected for the final presentation round. Uh, we were one of them, and we got fifth placed in a ReSCon. So I will advise anyone, even if you get placed or even if you get internship at MNC or any other company, don't stop there. Go go take participate in a lot of competitions. There are so many competitions out there. You can learn, you can grow, and eventually you can win too. So yes, there is a lot to learn. And then it was just internship. Like in June, we got the internship, and right now I'm doing a research internship. So SIH is going on. So yeah, even we are shortlisted. My team is shortlisted from the internal hackathon. So yeah, we will be submitting our idea to the portal soon.
Okay. So one thing important that Piyusha mentioned is that for the first hackathon, right? You mentioned that you'd taken a survey and went to your diploma college and things like that. Because when you're personally taking part in a hackathon, sometimes these are the things that we miss out. Like we have a solution, but it's not matching with the ground reality. So it's really important to first of all sort of survey and get an understanding of as to what the question is and what is required. And Piyusha, you mentioned lead code, right? So you said that you solved questions consistently for around 20 days, right? So do you remember how many questions or like what topic questions were you like did you like master in that 20 days period of time?
I basically focused on simple data structures like stack, linked list, um, uh, not queues, actually array strings. Arrays are most important. Array string, because many such companies that come to the comments, like average companies, or who give CDC 15 plus or something, they
Okay.
focus on arrays, linked list, and other. I didn't go for DP, dynamic programming, graphs. I studied up to trees and
Okay.
some questions of graphs. That's it. Because in 20 days you cannot cover all this
Yeah.
topic. Yeah, it was a very short time, and yes, I was able to do that. And even in interview they asked about strings, linked list, and there were theoretical questions on some Java collection framework. It was like DBMS. Oops, the interview, the technical round, it was, yeah, all that. Yes, DSA questions, they only go to the hard level if they are, providing like the highest package, like 30 plus or 40 plus. So I wasn't aiming for that too, because it was a really short time and I couldn't do that. Yeah.
Okay. So like Piyusha said that she focused on the main topics, right? And like till trees. So yeah, that's something that's really important because many times we think about that there's a lot of things to cover in DSA, but we're not able to cover all the basics. So as long as you have the basics, you can grow on that. And Piyusha, you mentioned you did diploma, right? So would you
Yes.
mind talking about like the advantages and disadvantages? Because I have personally have many friends from diploma, and what I something that I noticed is that they're technically very strong initially, like in development and things like that. And where they lag behind would potentially be some subjects like M3 or math. That is the only place where I saw that there's someone lag behind, especially aptitude. I'm talking about my friends. I'm not like generalizing.
It's okay.
So, like, what would you say? Like, what are the advantages and disadvantages you felt that
Okay,
of diploma?
talking about my experience, up to 10th, I checked the syllabus of computer engineering diploma at my college. It was government college, so our syllabus was different than the autonomous colleges that are present in the Maharashtra. So I checked and I found that only in first semester we just have science, basic mathematics, like district mathematics, something, and physics, chemistry, English. Yeah, that's those kind of subjects. And in second semester, we start learning C. That is like the first
Hmm.
or whatever the initial language we often start with learning programming. And from the second year, all there were subjects all related to the computer fundamentals like C++, data structures, again Java, like web development, everything. So I thought ki going for 11, 12, learning science and mathematics, I don't want to, because I was not interested in learning physics and chemistry. So I opted for diploma, and as soon as I started learning languages, I got hold of it. I got to know like data structures beforehand. What is that? What is this? And this. And we build a project. So we have like micro project for every subject. So we have to build that. We have to code them. Whether it was simple, major, minor, we have to do that. So yeah, we got practically, like we got hands on them. And yeah, they have advantages, like the languages, many languages. It's not like just C++. I learned C, I learned C++, PHP, Java, Python. There were like 6 to 7 languages that we had over the 6 semesters of my diploma. And along with that, we learned Android web development. Like in Android, it counts app development. It was basic, it was not in deep, but at least the basic concepts were like cleared, and we explored a lot. There was like App development, web development, and there were like extra subjects to like entrepreneurship development. So we got to hold on that too. How you should start with your startups if you are planning for. So yeah, they don't only go for the technical stuff. They only think, okay, the engineering or job is not the only option when you become an engineer.
Yeah.
When you become an engineer, you can think in other ways too. If you want to do a business in technical field, you can think on that way too. If you think of building your own company, you can think in that way too. So diploma, if you study very hard, it's very beneficial. Okay, and when you study at like bigger cities at Mumbai and Pune, you get a lot of opportunities. I was in Ahmednagar. There weren't any opportunities, but I participate in a lot of competitions like the district project competition, paper presentation, um, and also like they have some kind of the technical quiz competitions, and you just have to. They have like the what's that platform name? I forgot. It starts with K, I guess. I don't really.
I'm not sure.
No, I also forgot. Like they give you like 10 questions. Each question has a timer, and you have to select the options like
Kahoot, right?
week.
Is it Kahoot? Kahoot, I think.
Yeah, Kahoot, Kahoot. Yes, yes, yes. They to each increased and stuff like that.
Okay.
I also scored a lot. I also won many of the competitions. So the train started with my team only. Before me, no one took participation in any of such competitions.
And one thing she mentioned, which was important, is that you have to do things in deep. So it's not like diploma is the best way for you, or going through this IIT, JEE and all that process is the best way for you. It depends upon how deep you go. Like she said, she wasn't really inclined towards studying physics and maths, physics, chemistry, maths. So she went towards the diploma route. And what she did was she studied all the topics in deep, which you can also do after entering college if you are interested in doing PCM.
Yeah, the one thing that overpowers while doing diploma is you get to learn, like you get to work your hands on the projects, like doing projects. You get various kinds of projects, and when you go for like engineering, you already know what you should start with. You have already done so much projects. Like we have a micro project for every and each other subject, whether be it like entrepreneurship development or like technical subject. You have to do the project for everything. So as compared to the regular students who have done 11th and 12th, it's kind of easy for us to like get started with the project and complete it within a week or within like few days. So it's not problem. Yeah, talking about disadvantages, the mathematics will lack in mathematics so much. Like, yeah, it was easy for me. I wouldn't say like it was like really that hard. Of course, we had like up to M2. We didn't go for M3.
Yeah.
Thank God, like we didn't have M3 in in our college. But yeah, it was like a piece of cake for everyone who has done 11th and 12th. And we were like, oh my God, how we are going to pass this exam? How like everyone was just crying and crying and crying. This is not. And when we got the result, everyone has passed in that subject, and everyone went like, oh yes, we passed it. Okay, this time is gone now. Let's focus on other.
Okay, now Piyusha, would you mind talking about Deutsche Bank? Because you've talked about everything, mostly everything else. Like Deutsche Bank, could you like go through that process and like tell exactly what happened? Like if you could mention some in the way around these topics were covered.
Yes, I got selected on campus only.
Okay.
So there were 3 rounds. First one was shortlisting for the coding round itself. It was not a big deal. Students having 7+ CGPA can sit for the online test.
Okay.
In online test, there were like 10 MCQs, each of 2 marks, and the 2 coding questions, each of 20 marks, I guess, 10 to 20 marks. So I first focused on the MCQs, completing the MCQs. They were based on DBMS, OOPS, there is a code snippet. You have to what is the output and those kind of questions. 1 to 2 questions from computer networks too. So I totally focused on MCQ first, and I then went for coding questions. The coding questions were like medium hard level. They were not easy ones, but they were from array plus DP. As I didn't have done DP, I couldn't solve that question. But for the array, yes, I solved it a few test kits were passed. I thought I won't be shortlisted for the interviews as I've done bad in the coding questions, but thankfully I got selected for the interviews because I have focused on both, like first on MCQ and then on coding questions. There were girls who only focused on coding questions, like
Okay.
two of the they solved like both of the questions, but couldn't get shortlisted for the interviews because they didn't solve MCQs that properly and they just guessed because there was no time for that. So I will suggest that even if there are like aptitude questions or the MCQs, like technical MCQs and coding, focused on everything. Manage your time. Time management is so important. Like, okay, you have to give this much time for this. Do not exceed that time. If you exceed it, just leave it and go forward. You should manage your time in that kind of case. So yes, I got shortlisted for the second round. That was the interview round. Uh, the interview round consisted of three. The first one was technical round. The second one was the profit HR round. It's basically like technical plus HR round. And the
Okay.
third one was HR round. So in technical round, they started with my introduction, like what projects I have done, what's my background, kind of like even family background, what my father does, and all that.
Yeah.
And then they started with the question, what's the exception hierarchy of the exception handling? I wasn't able to answer that question, so he answered me. And it's like the beginning started with you
Yeah.
not answering the question, and I got, oh, I'm not answering the question. So it was not that difficult, but I would just say it was a bad starting with only the first question. And then he started with the DSA questions. It was basically based on hash map, hash sets, array, string, and linked list. Yes. So they asked problems, and they asked me to write the code on the paper,
Okay.
and they asked for the optimal solution if there is any, the time complexities. So there was one question that I couldn't get the optimal solution for.
Okay.
So he just gave me the hint, like try on your own if you can come up with the optimal solution. So I couldn't. So he gave me a hint of using the other data structure like hash map. And then within a few seconds, I told him the answer, like, okay, you can use this operator. So he was impressed by the fact that if given a hint or if given a road to go on, like to walk on, you can quickly able to come up with a solution. Like, okay, she is fast with the answer. She can at least come up with something, like something that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the part of the DSA one. Coming forward with the DBMS, he asked a lot of queries. He asked to write a lot of queries based on joins. He gave me some word problems, like there is a employee table, they have this columns, and you have to find the fifth highest salary.
Yeah.
So it was like they won't ask you like what's the highest, what's the lowest, the typical SQL queries that
Yeah.
we do in the practical labs. They'll
Yeah.
ask kind of easy but tricky at the same time.
Yeah.
So yes, I was able to answer all those as again. I have done this in all diploma, so it was just kind of revision for me
Yeah.
in the second year of diploma, and just I went through within that 15 days of span where I was coding and practicing coding and all stuff. I just revised all the concepts of DBMS. So it wasn't hard for me to able to answer those kind of questions, DBMS ones. Those were easy to medium level, I would say.
Okay.
And he asked me about questions related to OOPS, like abstraction, the four pillars of OOPS, and everything. He went kind of deep into it, and also asked some questions that I couldn't able to answer, like, please tell me the version of JDK where polymorphism was introduced. So I didn't know in which JDK version the polymorphism was introduced. So I just said no, I don't know. So it's fine if you couldn't answer one to two questions of them. They will able to understand. And he also asked me about the computer networks. At that time, we didn't have computer networks in engineering college. Like I was a third year student, and didn't have computer networks, but I had in diploma. So I was able to answer that question. It was an easy question. It was like, what's the difference between TCP and UDP?
Okay.
So yes, I was able to answer that, and few questions related to Java. And as I have mentioned that I know basics. That time I know basics of React.js. So he asked some questions on React.js and the projects that I have mentioned on my resume. So it was about like around 45 minutes of interview. And at the last, he just asked if you have any queries, you can ask me. If you have any questions, you can ask me. So it was the first round. Then I got shortlisted for the second round, which was the technical plus HR round. It was very chill. She was very kind. She was very sweet with her questions and everything. So she started asking about the GPMC. What was my experience? What problem statement did I work on? And how was it? How you face the challenges? Because all the teammates were, I didn't know them beforehand. It was like they made the teams, they made the teams on their own. So they just asked about the whole experience, overall experience of JPMC Code for Go. And then she went for my project for Google Solution Challenge. That I
Okay.
said, like, I built the app or the application for women's safety, like the real world problem statement. So she went so deep in that, and she asked a few behavioral questions, like I told her we started it as a project, but when we went to the colleges for the reviews and we got the insights, and there were some girls like who has gone through, those kind of situations where we are trying to have a solution for.
Mm.
So then I told her that I started it as a project, but I ended it up as, like, the personal project. Like, I would really want to work for as a woman. So she, on based on that, she asked me some behavioral questions like, okay, there is your friend at company, you have already got the PPO. There is your friend at the company, and she is being harassed and some kind of situation. What will you do? So I said, like, I will stand up for him. I will do everything that works on her favor. And then she asked about what if it risks your job at the company? Helping her will risk your job at the company. Such kind of questions. So you just have to tackle those questions very positively. You don't have to be negative at the times. Just stay positive. That's what I can say for now. And she got really impressed that I was involved in the project emotionally and working it as my motto. Like, okay, I want to really do this, not as only the technical perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was impressed with that. She took like 1 hour on that only topic, like on that project only, women's active project. So I would say I just took out my feminism and that round, everything. And then later she asked like few technical questions related to Java and Python. And that's the end of the second round. And the round was hardly of 10 minutes. She
Okay.
asked about why I wanted to join DB, what are the values of DB that you are most interested in or you liked. So I talked about two values of DB and why I like them, and why I would like to work at DB. Then she mentioned that, is there any internship experience or any experience that you have uh, that you have been participated in or before coming to engineering college. So I told her that I have done industrial training when I was in diploma, when I was in third year of diploma. And then she asked questions, like basic questions of teamwork, challenges, the project, how did you tackle the challenges. Yeah, so it basically on my the questions were based on my resume plus some behavioral questions. Yeah, that's it. So it was a pretty, it took a whole day to go through all these interviews, and it was quite nice. Yes, and then I got shortlisted for the internship.
Okay. So something that I also found impressive is the thing that you mentioned about that women safety project, because like you mentioned, you're really immersed in that project due to the fact that it was something that relates to society, and personally at your level, it would definitely relate to you being a woman. So that is something that's really important, because at times when we're making projects, many times we forget the bigger goal that we are engineers to get a problem and find the optimal solution. Sometimes while making a project, we're in this mindset where ki like ये प्रोजेक्ट करने से मेरे रिज्यूमे में अच्छा होगा. So like when
Yeah,
you fall into that wrong sort of mindset, I don't think you can go ahead, because the issue that you talked about, it's really prevalent in today's world, and it is really something that should be focused on. Looking at recently what's been happening around the world and in India, so that was something that I also personally found really impressive, because the way you mentioned that the person taking your interview also asked like many questions related to that. So that is, I think, the key point of what we've done in this podcast so far, because it's something that really touches society, and personally, it also touched me, because it was really nice to hear about that. Pusha, now, like you'd mentioned in the Deutsche Bank first round, the OA round, there were a lot of computer fundamentals questions that were asked, right? Particularly from computer networks, operating systems, and object-oriented programming, which is OOPS. Uh, so we've talked about DSA and Dev a bit. So I wanted to know how should one go about covering these topics? Because this is something that I have noticed on a personal level as well, is that sometimes these topics are neglected. I don't know why. Like, we're focusing more on doing projects, dev, or maybe a lot of people focus a lot on DSA, like doing competitive programming and using platforms like code courses and things like that. But we sometimes forget about studying these topics in detail, right? So how should one go about it? Because you'd also mentioned some of your friends, they did well in the coding part, but they couldn't clear the round basically because they didn't do so well in the MCQs that were asked. So what would be your advice from your personal experience, and how should one go about covering these topics?
See, the basic thing that people forget, you will need DBMS, you will need OOPS in your projects too. When you're connecting your code to the databases and like your SQL or MongoDB, whatever, you will need DBMS for that. So you just don't have to prepare it for the sake of interviews. You have to know it. You have to have the knowledge of such things like DBMS and OOPS. So talking about DBMS, you have to go through firstly basic concepts. If you are the beginner, go through all the concepts at the initial level, like how the queries are written, what is this clause, what kind of clauses are there, and then go for like medium level questions. There are tons of questions available on the internet, like GFG,
Yeah.
even on the there is I don't remember the platform name, but yeah, I revised it searching like top 50 questions, top 100 questions from DBMS. Only do this only when you have cleared all the topics, you know all the concepts, and you just need a revision. So yes, that's what I did. I had cleared all the topics like joins, where clauses, different kinds of clauses, how to solve like a word problem. They have given a word problem, they have given
Mm.
a table, and they are just asking for this. They basically are talking about a simple thing, but they're
Yeah.
talking in a word problem, so it gets hard to get that questions and what actually want. We have to know like what they actually want from us, what solution they actually want from us. So it's kind of tricky sometimes when they ask in the interview, but DBMS is quite easy if you do it consistently. It hardly takes a week or 2 weeks. And for revision, it hardly takes one day, I would say. And talking about OOPS, they don't go really deep in that. They just asked upper wale questions like what's abstraction, what's kind of real life example you could talk about. They sometimes ask you to write the code for the abstraction, or even different kinds of concepts like polymorphism, what kind of polymorphism out there, inheritance. There are types of inheritance that are present in Java. Like, just if you can take an example of multi-level polymorphism,
Mm.
which we in Java there is like no multi-level. We have to uh, achieve it through the different kind of approach. Yeah, so this kind of basic questions they ask in OOPS. They don't go really in OOPS. They might go, but in my case, they didn't really go deep in that OOPS. They went in DBMS kind of questions. They asked like hard level questions for me in case
Yeah.
of DBMS. And for the computer networks, only few companies take questions on computer networks. Hardly takes because they know like in third year we don't have computer networks as a subject that time. So for computer networks, if you want to do, you can go through the basic concepts like what is HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, UDP, how the communication is like how the communication happens when what is transfer, what is receiver, what is sender, what is packet. Yeah, so this kind of like basic concept, even if you search for it on the internet, like basic concepts of computer networks or even the top 50 questions of computer networks, you
Mm.
will you will know that like what concepts you have to do for for the sake of interview. So yes, this is like a roadmap. You have to start with the basic concepts, then go deeper in it, have your hands on it, practically implement it on the. If you don't have a MySQL installed on your computer,
Mm.
or even if MongoDB, go on online compilers. There are so many online compilers that you can practice on. Go there, like practice, and then you can revise them by searching top 50 or top 100 questions. That's how I did.
Okay. So yeah, Piyusha, would you like to talk a bit more about your projects? Like, how did you start development? Like, did you just sort of learn things and then go on building projects, or did you do something
So,
different?
as I said, we had like micro projects in Diploma. So, we had that kind of stuff. Like first they would teach us different kinds of concepts of that subject, and in the last one they will ask us to develop a project. So I had that basic knowledge, I had the roadmap, like okay, this is from where I should start. And it started with what problem statement should I choose. It weren't like big problem statements like we have in engineering college. It was like basic concept, like start with
Mm.
small applications. If it's Android, start building this generalized app and something like that. So there I got, okay, how things work. So you have to do this, you have to do this first part, and then you have to get the problem statement first, then you have to design. You first need to design how your app will look like using Figma tools.
Yeah.
There are so many tools, like you can just prepare your UI or UX beforehand, how it will look, how will the UX will work, etc. And then you can start building frame by frame, page by page. If you're doing web development, if you're doing Android, then you have to go like frame by frame. It is. And on the way you can learn things. Okay, suppose if you don't know how to add a button in there, you can just search it on Google, like how to add button. If I'm using HTML or if I'm using React.js, there are tons of information available on internet, YouTube. Even now it's ChatGPT. That time we didn't have ChatGPT. Even it is now ChatGPT. And just don't copy and paste the code, know the things, like how, even if it's like for a simple button, see like how it's being coded, like uh, what syntax are there, what kind of approaches you can use to make it optimal. Because there are, in Android you have to have your app size really small so that it works fast and that.
Mm.
So you can go for such technology, you can start with the simple technologies first, and then you can go for like recent technologies, so that it will be beneficial for your projects in terms of optimal, if you talk about. So yes, you can learn on the way. Even my first hackathon was Google Solution Challenge. We
Yeah.
didn't know anything from React Native. It was like totally a new technology that we work on. Only one of our teammates was having the knowledge of it. So he told us like you have to set up first React Native. This is the process. So he shared a link with us. Go through it, shared, install React Native on your computer, and then we started building. We first built the Figma framework,
Mm.
sorry, the Figma one. We designed the prototype first for our application, and then we went by page. First the splash screen, then login page, then then this. So as we found, like if we don't know anything, we just search it on internet, or even if we can't find on internet, you can go ask your peers who are. You can ask your friends or even some experts you know on LinkedIn, or anyone who has knowledge in that field. Like in my case, if I'm stuck on some part, I can ask my friend who is having knowledge in React Native, that kind of thing. It's not just like internet is the only thing you can approach for. You can also ask your friends, you can also ask your teachers, like okay, I'm building this, I'm planning for this to go with, so what kind of suggestion you can give to me to make it better. These are like various approaches that you can go for to make your project, a really better one. The project your goal should not be like just completing the project. Your goal should be like how you're finishing it with a very in the best approach, like as possible. Like it's just like many people go with, okay, this is a project, this is a problem statement, and I have to go with this. No, you can first brainstorm. This is where people lack. They don't give much time for brainstorming. They don't give much time. Okay, what actually I have to do? What problem I have to solve for? They only go for like generalized problem statement. Okay, this library management system, or you can talk about a reservation system, that kind of. And they include like the common features,
Yeah.
uh, booking an appointment, issuing a book, and this and that. They don't think out of the box. You
Yeah.
have to choose a problem statement that actually solves a real life problem statement, be it a very, very small, but actually go for a real life problem statement. If you can't find one, go for like hackathon. You can search a lot of hackathons on the internet. You can just go through the topics that they had for their competitions, they had for their hackathons. You can choose that one for your practice. I'm not saying that use this and post it on LinkedIn and everything. If you want to really want to do a project on real life problem statement, you can go through that topics if you are not finding one on your own. You can go through the hackathons problem statement of previous year, last year, anything. That's how I did. My projects were basically from all the hackathons like JPMC, Rajasthan Police Hackathon, Google Solution Challenge. They weren't from like a generalized one from those which we have in college. So I guess yeah, the main point here is there are few points that I would like to highlight here. Choose problem statement that solves a real life problem. The second one is give more time, as much time you can give for brainstorming. Like what actually you have to do, what features there are. Your features should be unique. You must do something unique. Be it a very small. It's your first step. Be it a small at the very initial stage, but think in a different way. Give your time, take reviews from your peers, teachers, experts, anyone you can get, so you get the insights, you know what you have to do. They find your flaws in your projects. Okay, so you're going this way, I don't think so. That gives you an way. Okay, yeah, I was going in the wrong direction and this and that. It really helped a lot in our while we were developing that women's safety, because if you think of women's safety, it's a very vast. It's not like you can just solve that problem only with an application.
Yeah.
So we focused on only few topics, like we major topics like domestic violence, workplace discrimination, child marriage. We just focused on six of the problems that we could cover, and we took the surveys in the colleges, and from our teachers we circulated the Google forms, and then we updated our features or whatever we were planning with. So it really helps a lot when you get insights from all the people surrounded by you.
Okay. I think the audience, something that they could pick out from this was Piyusha mentioned research a lot, because at the end of the day, you're developing a product that is solving an issue, right? So the technical part is fine. You can plan that out based on what you know and what your group knows. But the research part, as Piyusha had mentioned, it's really important to first of all brainstorm and get a unique idea, like she'd mentioned, because currently I think it's really required, because with Chat GPT and so much text that's coming, you can't just rely on building a simple website, because no one would actually care about that. So like she said, uniqueness, and secondly brainstorming and research is something that you must do for hackathons and even when you're building your personal projects. So Piyusha, is there anything you else you'd like to tell the audience, like maybe a lesson you learned or anything like that?
As we have covered like a lot of technical stuff, I would like to go for networking or soft skills, maybe, because these are as equally important as your technical knowledge when you are giving the interviews in this. First of all, the communication skills. Please be positive when you are talking, when you are having a conversation with your interviewer. Don't say, okay, I can't do this, I can't. If you are stuck at the question, don't say, I can't do this. Just say, okay, I'm not aware about this question, but I will try it on my own. I will, uh, there are some interviewers, they grill you on, they check your patience, like you are not fit for your company. Like my friend, this has happened with my friend, that they said it on her face, like you are not suitable for our company and this and that, and they were just checking her patience. So she was like, even if I'm not a suitable candidate for your company right now, but I guess with your support and with the help of the employees at your company will surely make me a capable candidate at your company. So that's the positive responses you should give under a stress, under a lot of stress. You should work on your stress management, time management, most importantly, and you should have mock-ups if you are really scared about the communication skill. If you are stammering between your answers, you should take mock-ups with your friends before going for the interviews. You should revise this question, talk loudly when you are answering. Yeah, practice with your questions beforehand, before you are going to the interview. Other thing I would like to talk about, networking. Networking helps a lot. Just reach out on LinkedIn to the new kind of people. Okay, hi, it's nice to get to what's your domain. This is my domain. I would like to work with you in the future. This helps a lot. Like you know what people are doing, uh, where are they going, what kind of technologies they are using currently. Uh, as I was a GDSE member, the GDSE holds a largest student-led program, that is GDSE Wow, Wonders of Wonders. So I was a part of it, GDSE Wow, and it was a huge. huge experience for me because there were like colleges from different
Yeah.
people were from different colleges across Pune. So I got to meet a lot of talented candidates there, and I learned a lot about what they are planning, what they're up to right now. And yes, I'm in touch with them. We often talk about technical stuff, this and that. If there are any opportunities, if there are any hackathons, I could ask for them. Okay, would you like to participate with me? And I'm doing this and that. If you're stuck on some kind of work, as I said, like if you're stuck on part while you're doing project, you can just ask your peers, or you can just ask for the acquaintances that you have made on LinkedIn, that you have connected with the LinkedIn. So I found some people there that they were having the field of React Native. So of course we built a community on WhatsApp after then, and we started a group chat, something, some kind of. I'm not a part of this anymore because I changed my mobile recently. So there we solve doubts of other people having their issues in React Native. So this helps a lot in networking. And when you go to the company, you automatically have the ability to connect with the people there. Because in the company, you have to mix up with the people. You don't have to be like the shy one, the mysterious one. Okay, she's just minding her own business and just no. They didn't. They want someone who is interactive, who is staying positive, and who can share a lot about herself, about her knowledge, and they can exchange their information, they can exchange their knowledge. So yeah, it's a great thing if you work on your communication skills, if you have the courage to go and ask people, connect with them. It really helps a lot. You won't understand in the initial years of your engineering, but as you grow up, like as you go for third year, fourth year, you will recognize the importance of it. So yeah, if you're in the second year, start your development journey, connect with the people on LinkedIn. Start, if you're bad at communicate, it's not like shameful that you are bad at communication skills. There are people who are really good at technical skills, but they they cannot make it through the interviews because they cannot speak properly, or they stammer a lot, or could not convey their answer in a proper way. So work upon yourself. Soft skills are as equally important as technical skills. So yeah, these are like the three things I would like to talk about: the communication skills, networking part, and the soft skills.
Okay.
Yes.
So on a personal note, talking about LinkedIn, LinkedIn has really helped me with the podcast as well. Even reaching out to Piyusha, I don't know Piyusha personally, but I use LinkedIn to reach out to her, and it's a tool that can really help you connect with people from around the world. So I think it's really important to utilize such tools. So thank you so much, Piyusha, for sparing some time. I don't think half an hour or 40 minutes is really enough for a podcast, but I think we've done a good job. We can probably talk in a couple of more years when you get placed in a good company, which I
Yeah.
definitely will if you keep on working hard like this. So,
Yes.
yeah, thank you so much for coming.